look really nice today. Complementary quilt.
It's art time with Mr. Mayberry. Let's get busy.
Welcome to Art Time with Mr. Mayberry. Color is an element of art, a basic building block that is used to make artwork. Quilting is something that started off as a necessity but has over time become an art form. Today we're going to use one set of complementary colors, orange and blue, to make a 9-patch quilting square. For this project you'll need blue, orange, and white construction paper, a pencil, a ruler, scissors, and glue. So let's get started. It's time to make some art. Okay, for this project we start off with a square piece of paper. This is actually the white construction paper that I mentioned. The paper's width was 9 inches, so I cut it so that it would be 9 inches the other direction as well. So I have a 9-inch by 9-inch square. And that seems to be a good size to use because most construction paper comes in 9 by 12. So this will give you a good size to work with. Next I'm going to take the ruler and I'm going to measure out. I'm going to make a mark at every 3 inches. So I make a mark here, here. Okay, same thing on the other side at 3 inches and at 6 inches. And then I do the same thing at the top at 3 and 6. And also at the bottom at 3 and 6. Then I'm going to connect those lines to, it'll make 9 3-inch by 3-inch squares is what it'll do. And this is our basis for the quilt. Now quilting, I mentioned, started off as a necessity. A lot of your early quilting in like early colonial times started off as being a way for people who didn't have a lot of money to actually have a nice blanket. You could take scraps of your old material and little scraps and put them all together to make a bigger blanket, whereas to buy enough material for a big blanket would cost a lot of money. So that's kind of how it got started. People still do all kinds of quilting today. My grandmother did a lot of quilting, and the quilt you saw in the opening was made by her. That was one she made for me. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares to work with. And what I'm doing with this white paper is this gives me a workspace to put down the blue and orange construction paper. Now, I mentioned blue and orange, they are opposites on the color wheel. So those are called complementary colors. Those are colors that when you put them beside each other, they make the other one look nicer. It's like they're giving them a compliment. They complement each other. They work together well. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut the other construction paper, the blue and orange, into 3-inch squares, and on a 9 by 12 sheet then you end up with extra, and that's good just in case you mess up. You have an extra there as a spare that you can use. But so I've got my blue and orange. Now, like I said, if you put them beside each other, they make the other color look brighter, and so that's the way that they complement each other. They work well together. Now, next what you need to do is decide what your quilting pattern is going to be. I've got some graph paper. Now, I didn't mention this in the opening, but you might want to start off with a piece of graph paper and kind of map out your designs first, your options, your choices, come up with a plan, and then you can use your plan to make the quilt square. Now, here I've got this is one that I designed myself here. It's supposed to be like a light bulb. Here's one with a pencil, kind of a design. These are more traditional here. This is the 9-patch or 9 square, like a checkerboard, and then this one is called a bow tie. And so this is the one I chose to do for today. Now, in order to make this, you notice that there are other shapes besides squares in here. There's triangles and rectangles in some of these as well. Actually, on these I don't think I have any rectangles that I've used, but there's triangles that form rectangles. And here's how you do that. You take your squares and you can divide them up different ways. And this is all actually works out. It's a type of geometry, working with shapes. So it's mathematical, geometrical shapes. You've got here I divided in half this direction to get 2 triangles, and then this I divided like an X to get 4 triangles. Here I divided to get 2 rectangles, and here it's divided twice to get 4 squares that are equal size. So these are different ways you can divide up your beginning squares and then get more intricate designs. You can come up with a lot more designs by cutting up the pieces into smaller sizes. Now, after you've got your design picked out, I said I was going to do the bow tie one, then you will glue the pieces down to your the squares that you've already traced out. You'll cut out the pieces, you glue them down. Looks something like this. Actually, this direction. And then when you'll glue the actual construction paper pieces down inside the grid that you have inside the pieces. So this is the bow tie. Now when you apply glue, it's best to use dots and thin lines because then you're not wasteful with the glue. Use what you need. If you squirt out half the bottle, it ends up being wasteful and it'll squish out and make a big mess. So I always recommend dots and thin lines. Then you take the piece, also glue on the construction paper itself. Don't glue on the white because it may not get covered up just right. So put the glue on the back of the piece that you're putting down and then you put it into place. And here is a finished quilting block. Now if you're in a classroom situation, you could all the students can do their own quilting square, and then you could put those together to make an actual finished product that looks like a quilt. And so this is our project for today, a complementary quilting block.
Well, that's all for today. If you'd like to show me the quilting square that you made, just paste it in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
See you later. Hi, bye.